beautiful soul, and welcome back. It is such an honor to have you here. Today, we are diving into the rise of Sophia and the divine feminine energy. I'm going to be diving into some of the shifts that have been happening collectively and on the planet, and that you have likely been feeling and experiencing yourself. And this is such a pivotal time on the planet, such a pivotal shift taking place, because as you have probably experienced and as you probably know, the feminine has been suppressed for far too long. And this goes beyond just feminine and masculine. Obviously, I work primarily with women, so I'm speaking primarily to women and those in a female body, but we have masculine and feminine within us. We have these energies, these characteristics. So even for those who are men, there has been a lot of activations taking place within their inner feminine and bringing online more of the sacred feminine energy and honoring their own intuition, their own emotions, their connection to their heart and soul. And that is so much of what's happening right now, because all of us collectively have had the feminine aspects suppressed and villainized or made to be lesser than in terms of their value and what they bring to the world. And what we're seeing right now is this balance and this harmony starting to be created, especially for those who have been doing the work, who are in this kind of space of deep healing and activating and constantly stepping into their higher self. So let's dive into what this is and why this is so important right now. Because so much of our current reality has been built from a lower masculine and a lower feminine programming. And it's finally at a place where things can start to be built in a more aligned way, in a more inclusive way, in a way that honors not only the physical action and the systems and the stability and the building, right? But also the heart and soul and essence and creativity and the kind of flow that has been lacking for so long. And the connection to emotion, the connection to overall well being of self and others, right? The lower masculine systems that have been created on the planet up until this point have been very ego driven and very much around self service and trying to get ahead. A lot from survival, because the root chakra wasn't super balanced, and there's just been so much trauma on this planet for all beings, that it wasn't necessarily stabilized to create from a more healthy, grounded place. And thankfully, we're getting to that. And this is in part to both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So praise the divine masculine for doing their due diligence as well, which I don't feel like I should have to note, but I've gotten a lot of flack, and at times I've hit I've hit some trigger points, which the divine feminine energy tends to do, because a lot of the outdated systems and those who are still living in the outdated paradigm don't appreciate when a woman is speaking truth, and it triggers their wounding, it triggers things within them, their shadows. And I have gotten a lot of flack. I've hit the old man algorithm a handful of times and received a lot of negativity, a lot of judgment, a lot of condemnation, and as though I am in this like feminist movement and talking down to the masculine. Honestly, I've never done that in my life on social media, so I don't know where that's coming from, but that's coming from their own wounded perspective that a woman being in her power is a threat to a man. When in reality, the new paradigm that is being created is that a woman in her power is a benefit to a man, just as a man in his power is a benefit to the woman, and they can coexist and co-create together from a healed template and from both being in their center, both being in their connection to source and in their highest selves. So by no means does the rise and the reconnection to the divine feminine essence and the feminine aspect of Christ, the feminine Christ consciousness, which is Sophia, that does not take away at all from the necessity of men also being on the planet and being in their power and doing their thing. So I just feel like I should quickly mention that of how we're here to co-create together. But the beauty of Sophia and the beauty of this feminine essence is that it is shining light on so much of these outdated systems. And I'm so proud of every single feminine and sister out there who has been pushing through the discomfort and pushing through the suppression, pushing through the levels and layers of trauma and programming that have told her that she doesn't matter, that she's not worthy, that she's not needed, that she's a waste of space, that her gifts are not important. Pushing through that to reclaim that power, to hold her own, to know that who she is deeply needed at this time on the earth, and to continue rising up into that more and more. Because it's through the softness of the feminine, it's through the unconditional love in her heart that true healing and major changes can take place on the planet. So as the feminine continues to honor her gifts and her intuition, her deep inner knowing that things can be better and that the ways things have been working are not acceptable, and the reclamation of her voice to express this into the world, to speak up against these things, right? And to demand equality, to demand changes, to demand that these outdated systems and structures collapse. She inspires so much change for the masculine, both the inner masculine to start rising up and assisting her in this and protecting her, guarding her heart, guarding her innocence, guarding her purity and the gifts that she has, but also for the external masculine to rise up and realize, yes, actually, we don't need to continue to settle for what is normal and what has been. We don't need to continue to just fall in line and do what we're being told and keep creating from this outdated program. We can actually be the builders that build the new earth and build this change. So there's such a beautiful cohesion behind or between both the feminine and masculine polarities here. And this is why there has been such an intense suppression on both on the planet. Because a man and a woman, a masculine and feminine, in their highest expressions of power, in their highest expressions of divinity, is a truly unstoppable force, and it's what can create massive changes on the planet. So of course, those who have been trying to keep suppression and keep their own negative control, those with that elite agenda, have been trying to suppress both and separate both and keep both in those lower templates because that is so much easier to control. A feminine rage, also a feminine flow, is something that is untamable, and that is scary sometimes because you don't know what to expect. It's unpredictable. It could go anywhere. Right? And I love thinking of the masculine as the cup, right? The vessel that is like strong, structured, stability. And the feminine essence is the water. So without the cup, she'll flow everywhere, right? When you don't work on your own inner masculine, your feminine, her emotions will go all over the place. And it can cause you to collapse. It can cause you to be pulled into just this abyss of downward spirals and uncontrollable emotions that hold you back from where you're meant to be or what you're here for, right? That uncontrollable flow can be a lot, which is why finding the balance, the harmony, learning how to tune in to work with your emotions, to process these things, while then also having the masculine frame, the masculine structure to feel safe and supported as you're doing that, and to feel grounded so that you can rise back up and then take aligned action. They're both so, so deeply needed. But if you are in your divine feminine energy and you have been in this process of continuing to embody more and more of your gifts, continuing to rise up and share your authentic truth, which is what you're here to do ultimately, it's natural that you will be triggering shadows from those around you. Because, as I said, the feminine essence tends to shine a light on the shadows, shine a light on the darkness. She's not afraid to go into the depths. She's not afraid to go deep into her emotions, to deeply feel. And it's the feminine capacity to hold space for the heaviest possible emotions, the heaviest levels of grief and despair and pain, that crack her open and allow her to return to the heart space, return to love, love for self, love for other, love for the collective and humanity at large. That is such a profound gift that the divine feminine carries. So that also means that her just being in her power, you just being in your power, you not being afraid of your own emotions or someone else's emotions, your ability to continue to hold yourself and to feel in a way that is much deeper than the surface level and much deeper than the, I don't want to say average, but kind of average 3D person is willing to feel, right? Most are like, oh, it's an emotion, I don't want to look at it. Ooh, hide that away, let's avoid that and close the door, hopefully never come back, right? Eventually it shows up, eventually it rises to the surface. The divine feminine is not afraid to face that, to sit with it, to be with it, to eventually make friends with it and make peace with it and alchemize it into a superpower, into a gift, into more and more of her own inner power, right? She transmutes this pain and turns it into something beautiful, or transmutes the shadow and the darkness and turns it into light. And so, as I said, those who are not ready to witness that, those who are not ready to be in the presence of that, those who are not ready to do that in their own life and look at their own shadows or emotions are going to be immensely triggered by you just being you. I've noticed this in so many different relationships and it's hilarious. Like, I actually find it really funny now because you're just like, I'm not even trying to do anything. I'm just like here and I'm tapped in. I feel very connected to Source. I'm getting my intuitive guidance. I see things very deeply. I feel things very deeply. And it's very clear to me when someone is like avoiding something within themselves or not wanting to feel the emotion or not wanting to confront the misalignment, perhaps, right? They're in that place of avoidance, tucking away, which is how majority of the systems on the planet have currently been built is through just like a one trap mind focus and a pushing away the contrast, a pushing away of anything outside, right? That lower, like the masculine directive, but from a lower place that isn't taking in the consideration of others or the collective or how that might make people feel, the emotions that are connected to it, which is ultimately why we see such an immense lack of empathy and connection to humanity, because it's from this lower masculine, ego driven, only focused on themselves, right? Lacking any kind of connection to anyone else who's being impacted on the way, or to Mother Gaia, the earth itself. We see that with all these things that are, just ripping apart the beautiful earth we call home and not showing any respect for her and what she provides. I forget where I was going with all of this. Classic. It was about how when the feminine is aware of these things and when she sees and feels this deeply and someone is trying to suppress that or push that away and they're not ready to look at that, they will be triggered by her ability to see. They will be triggered by her willingness to go into the feelings, to go into the depth of the emotions. They might even be triggered by, the just the general energy that she's showing up with, or her ability to see things from these different perspectives. Because if someone has been stuck in the one track mind, stuck in the system, stuck in the matrix programming for a while, and then there's someone who's off here doing something totally different, off here just feel your feelings in her intuition, in the divine feminine flow, uncontrollable, untamable, authentically expressed in pleasure and passion, which have also been suppressed and made to be negative. That is like very confronting to someone who is not yet over there, right? And as you have probably experienced in your own life, in your own journey, we get triggered by what we see in the mirror, because everything that is mirroring back to you when you're in the presence of someone who's embodying the divine feminine, embodying the Sophia essence, and that deep remembrance of herself as also a creation of God and not a lesser than, who is not crumbling to a lower masculine patriarchal society that has told her for hundreds, if not thousands of years that she's useless and that everything about her, her natural gifts, don't matter and aren't needed in the world. Emotions, feeling, intuition, love, empathy, creativity, authenticity, vulnerability, all these things that are natural to an aligned feminine being, right? When someone sees someone in that energy, it triggers, it's the mirror to them of like, whoa, and I'm over here and I'm not honoring myself, or I'm feeling the heaviness of that and I don't feel in control of my emotions, and I'm erupting over here, or I'm this, that, and another thing, right? I'm still in the system and this person looks like they're out of it. Whatever the case may be, that can trigger a lot of shadows and density in that person. So the moral of all this video, I think, is just to continue to embrace your gifts and what you're here for, continue to shine the light and be the light regardless, and have this extra understanding that, the more you continue to rise into your power and embody your power, and the more you continue to own that, like, this is who I am. You can take it or leave it. I'm not phased either way. that is fierce. And naturally, some will be so inspired by it, some will be so in awe of it, some will use that mirror to go, oh, okay, I want to be more like that. I want to feel more free and expressed. I want to feel more liberated. I want to be more, trusting of myself, my intuition. I want to share my gifts and my creativity. And they will use your light as inspiration. And there will be those who are triggered and might lash out. They might say something from their shadow that's now being, it's vibrating, and it's like, this person is not matching my perspective of reality, and I'm not happy about it because I'm uncomfortable now. So please know that other people's response has nothing to do with you, and you hold such important codes and keys. You hold such deep wisdom in your body, in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, your soul, your essence. Like, you are so crucial to the balance that is coming back to the planet, to the world where both masculine and feminine can thrive together, and there can be cohesion, and we can all call each other forward and continue rising up. Right? I think where sometimes men get triggered, or other women get triggered too, is if they feel that the feminine is looking down on them. But that's not divine feminine. Divine feminine doesn't look down, right? Sophia, the Christ Sophia consciousness and the feminine aspect of Christ, Sophia is so unconditionally loving. There's this safety, this warmth, this like wrapping in her embrace. There is no judgment. There's no looking down. That's the dark mother, and that's the lower feminine energy, which I'll get into in another video because I'm already talking a lot. That's very different. And hopefully you can discern between the two in yourself. Depending on where you are in your journey, you'll have felt the difference between both. I know there's times where that energy has risen up in me because it's from my own wounding that I still needed to clear, and I felt more of a level of judgment or like a frustration towards someone. And then I could very clearly see afterwards, and sometimes in the moment, of like, ooh, this is not coming from unconditional love. This is definitely not coming from my heart. Where is this coming from? And then I can go into the emotion, into the depth of it, feel it, heal it, shift things, alchemize them, do my divine feminine work and my magic there. So just that final note of, if you are truly embodying the divine feminine energy and tapped in, connected to Sophia, you will feel and radiate out the most unconditionally loving. It's this safe space for all. And it's like a welcoming embrace, as I said, where it's like, you can meet me where you're at. I'm not looking down at you whatsoever. I've been where you are. And we're all equal. We're all, doing our best. And I'm here for you. I'm holding space for you. I'm with you. And there is no judgment in where someone else is at in their journey from this place. So praise and gratitude to you for doing your inner work. I hope this was helpful in some way. I hope if you have been in the trenches or perhaps struggling in this current shift, because energies have been so intense lately, and we've all had a lot to be processing and going through. So I just hope you know that you are supported and loved, and there's so much gratitude for the work you're doing, and please continue to own your power and embody that and keep moving forward in all that you're here to do. If this is something you'd like more support with, the feminine energies and activating your higher level gifts, creating a deeper connection to self and to source, and really being able to hold your power and express your authenticity in the world and expressing your higher level gifts, your service, all that you're here to do. This is something I teach inside my Activate bundle. It is filled with quantum healing and hypnosis recordings, really allowing you to clear out any of the things that are distortions or illusions or possible suppression from this lifetime and past lifetimes that is keeping you from showing up at your highest and being in this embodiment, as well as different activations to connect deeper to your higher self and multidimensional aspects of yourself, the gifts that you're here to bring into the world, the Sophia energy itself, and really start embodying your angelic presence, your earth angel energy here on mission and service to support the planet. So I've dropped the link for that down below if you'd like to learn more. Otherwise, I truly hope this was helpful, and I'm sending you so much love on your journey as you continue just embodying more and more of your authentic truth and knowing that your light is so deeply needed. So please keep showing up at your highest. Know that the right ones see you and appreciate you. Know that even in the triggers or the shadows that may be triggered by those around you, that is a gift and it's an opportunity for healing for everyone, and everything's happening as is divinely orchestrated. You're so supported and your work here is so important. So I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon.